So I created this spreadsheet as an example to show you a very concrete example of how the late work policy will work. I know we've discussed it. There was my suggestion that we have a 3-day grace period. Everybody seemed to be good with that, except one student who thought it should be shorter, and so we went with a 3-day grace period. And then after the 3-day grace period, your campaign and every assignment that's associated with it gets reduced by 25%. Again, we had the discussion, everybody seemed to think that was all right, so that's what we have now. This spreadsheet shows exactly how that would work in a certain situation. If we take a look, we have a list of components or elements on the left, the campaign itself, which will have a grade of 10 in the grade book, the primer, task 1, task 2, task 3, etc., all the way down to side quests. Like normal, most of these things will have their own assignment in the gradebook. And let's assume that on this particular campaign that was due Thursday, February 1st, you completed them and you earned a 10 out of 10 on campaign 51, an 8 out of 10, so you logged it as a got it on the primer, owned it on task 1, did it task 2, got it task 3, and then etc., down to side quest A, owned it. So you averaged 78%. If you turned it in and logged the campaign on time, of course you'd earn 100% of the scores you earned. If you turned it in 1 day late, so now we're talking about Friday, 1 day late, that's within the grace period, and you would still earn all of the credit for all of your assignments. Saturday, Sunday, same thing, that's still in the 3-day grace period. There are no penalties. That's the idea of a grace period. It's okay to be a little bit late without penalties. Remember, we have the grace period for student activities travel, illnesses, unexpected things that come up that cause you not to be able to get your work done on time, but allows you to complete it a little bit late without any penalty. Like I've said, and I'll probably continue to say, don't let yourself get in the habit of treating these assignments, the ones due on, let's say, Thursday, as though they're not actually due until Sunday. Because then when these things come up, and we know they do come up, you'll be right at that edge and you'll be penalized immediately. It's nice to have the buffer of the grace period. That's the whole idea. So now let's assume that assignment that was due on Thursday, or all of those assignments and the campaign due on Thursday, maybe you completed task 1 and task 2, and then you completed the primer, and you didn't log it until Monday. Keep that in mind. It doesn't matter when you complete the assignments. You might finish the formative the day that it's due, but until you log the campaign, you don't get credit. So now, in this example, you've logged on Monday. It's 4 days late, so now there's a 25% penalty. Every score that you earned is now reduced by 25%. Not just on the campaign, but on each assigned task within the campaign. So now all of a sudden, instead of getting a 10 out of 10, you earn a 7.5 out of 10 on the campaign itself. On the primer, you originally had earned an 8, now you get a 6. The first task, 7.5, 4.5, 6, and 3 3/4. So now your average, instead of a 78% for everything associated with this campaign, has dropped to a 59%. All right, turn it in 1 day later, finally log the campaign and everything's done. Now you've dropped to a 39% from 78%. Wednesday, 20%, because now you're losing 75% credit on every single assignment. By Thursday, exactly 1 week late, it's worth 0 credit. But as you know, you still have to complete it, and you need to get that green check mark on the left of your stats sheet in order to continue to the next campaign.